It's over. Fort Wayne's ambulance service will stay with the Three Rivers Ambulance Authority.
TRAA and the fire department announced a new compromise plan today. 15 finds out investigator Alyssa Ivanson has been digging deeper into the debate for the last few weeks and met with both departments again today.
Well, the fire department and TRAA have always said the main goal in all of this is to provide the best patient care to the community as possible. And they say today's compromise is a step in that direction. When you dial 911 for a medical emergency in Fort Wayne, in the very critical calls, both the fire department and an ambulance are sent to your aid.
The system was designed to have first responders get on scene first and to have paramedics arrive on scene later.
Firefighters are trained to provide basic life support.
Keep the blood circulating, control for bleeding, things like that, making sure the airway is open.
But sometimes the patient needs more than that, what's called advanced life support, or ALS.
Administering life-saving drugs, so first-line cardiac drugs, more advanced airways, 12 lead monitors in order to assess the heart rhythm a little bit better.
Fort Wayne Fire Chief Eric Leahy says in an analysis of arrival times between the fire department and the Three Rivers Ambulance Authority,
we did it 76% of the time faster than they did, and about 2.5 to 3 minutes faster than they did. There are times in which that 2.5 minutes is 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. And that's what we're really focusing on.
That's why he proposed adding an advanced EMT or paramedic and ALS supplies to every fire engine.
That way we don't have to reach the end of our BLS protocol and wait for an ambulance to arrive, but we can continue that care to the ALS level.
Why is adding the ALS level to the fire department not enough and keep TRAA with the transport?
It comes back to that revenue. Putting an advanced EMT or a paramedic on every one of our engines comes at a cost. So in order to recoup those costs, we have to absorb the entire system. We cannot get revenue on the system by just delivering ALS care. You have to transport the patient in the eyes of Medicare and Medicaid and insurance providers in order to collect that revenue.
But the proposal to take over ambulance services was met with resistance from TRAA and Paramedics Plus, the ambulance provider based in Texas.
You're putting a potential change in the hands of someone who hasn't done full ambulance service. Granted, they do first responders and they do it extremely well. But you always question, if there's not a problem, why are you looking at changing?
To see firsthand how they respond to medical calls, 15 Finds Out rode along with the fire department and TRAA. While with the fire department, the TRAA ambulance was already positioned at Station 11, so when a call came in, we basically caravanned there. While with TRAA, we were already halfway to the scene before the fire department was dispatched, and the engine followed us the rest of the way, still basically arriving together. Both of those calls were in the heart of the city, and firefighters say the big arrival time gaps are usually in the suburbs.
We have our niche that we do very, very well.
Monday, TRAA's executive director Gary Brewer told 15 Finds Out the system is working, but they are open to suggestions to improve it.
Does it make sense for them to be ALS first response? I don't know. We're kind of looking at that. And, we're working with the fire department to try to see, is there something in here that does make sense that is best for the patients and best for the community, as opposed to a total changeover of system.
Then today's announcement. TRAA will pay for the paramedics on the fire engines, and the fire department will not pursue taking over transport. Patients will get advanced life-saving care before TRAA arrives.
This is a reasonable compromise for what we were trying to accomplish. Our goals were always make significant improvements to the system and do it without an additional tax to the citizens or any additional subsidy to the citizens.
Under the agreement, TRAA will pay around $400,000 a year out of the reserve fund to cover the costs of training, staffing, and supplying advanced life support on the engines.
The community still gets to have the excellent care that TRAA has provided for over 30 years. We still get the excellent first responders from Fort Wayne Fire Department, but there are those times where occasionally the fire department does arrive on scene quicker than TRAA for perhaps an extended amount of time, so it enhances that care for those patients who potentially could benefit from ALS care. So it truly is. It's a win for the community, and I think that's the important part.
This agreement does still have to be approved by the TRAA board. That could happen tomorrow. It would then be in place for at least the next 5 years. In Studio 15, Alyssa Ivanson, News Channel 15.